Welcome to the RMS Art Department. Today we are going to be going through and talking about some care when it comes to working with watercolors. So you can see in front of me I have my beautiful watercolor palette, and you can see that some students have done some incredible mixing right on the watercolor lid. However, I don't think that I'm going to want to start by using these colors, and I'd really like a nice clean working space. So the first thing I'm going to go over with in this video today is how to clean your lid so you can start with a fresh, nice working space. You're going to begin by taking your paintbrush and your cup of water, and you are also going to need some paper towels, which you can all get at the art sink. The first thing you're going to want to do with your awesome paintbrush is give it a little bit of love, maybe pet it gently, warm it up by sticking it in the water, swirling it around, and then you're going to take and actually apply the water right to the area of your lid that you would like to clean. Now as you do this, you can see that you are actually almost painting on your watercolor lid. All the colors are blending together. Then you're going to take your paper towel and you're going to wipe off the lid of your watercolor. Already, I can see that this is doing a really good job. I actually almost just heard a squeak when I went ahead and I rubbed the paper towel on the watercolor lid. Now I could use this lid as it is, but I'm noticing that in the edges right around here, I still see a little bit of watercolor. And since I'm going to be working with some light watercolors today, I really don't want these colors to bleed. So I'm just going to put my paintbrush back in the water, and I'm going to repeat this process. So I'm drawing out those watercolors that I have that are left. And again, I'm going to take my paper towel and I'm going to go ahead and make my watercolor lid squeaky clean. So if you look at the comparison to the other ones on the side and then you look at the one in the middle, you can see the difference right here in how to clean your watercolors. Another thing that happens sometimes is we actually get in our watercolor pans some paint from other watercolors, and we try not to do it, but accidents happen. So Miss Picklingus would like to go over today maybe a way that we can kind of fix that. If I look at this orange right here, I see that I have a little bit of paint here where I have some cross-contamination that I'd like to get rid of. So I'm going to take my amazing paintbrush. It's going to be dry, and I'm just going to go ahead and try and blot up that paint. Then with my dry paintbrush, I'm going to swirl it around in its swimming pool. I'm going to towel it off, gently wiping it, and then I'm going to take my paper towels and I'm going to wipe it there as well. I'm going to go back in, and I'm starting to see a nice watercolor pan that is clean with the orange. And this is just a way for us to ensure before we begin painting with our watercolors that our art materials are ready to go, that we have a nice clean working space. This also would be a great thing to do when it comes to cleanup, because how cool would it be if you were the person who was getting this paint palette and you had a beautiful, amazing, clean paint palette. The next thing I want to go over is putting away our paintbrush. If you look on your paintbrushes, you will see that each of them has a number. Miss Picklingus has made these signs that have the number of the paintbrushes that go in the container. So you can kind of see here I've got a 2, and all of the paintbrushes that are 2s are going to belong in this container. That's going to keep everything nice and organized, and that way if people need a really small paintbrush for doing detailed work, or if they need a larger paintbrush for painting in the negative space, they're going to be able to reach right in and grab the brush that they need. Another thing I want to talk about when it comes to paintbrushes is my amazing little friend over here. I actually saw this visual on the Art of Ed, and I took it and twisted it a little bit. This is Mrs. Paintbrush, and if you look at her, you can tell that she's in a little bit of a crisis mode. Her hair's all wacky, she's got paint on her body, her hair hasn't been washed, it hasn't been stylized, and sometimes that does happen to our paintbrushes. Sometimes students will be using paintbrushes, and I call it a bad hair day. The paintbrush starts to get a little, I don't know, just kind of spiky looking, and it doesn't look like that's a paintbrush that's ready to be used. Instead, I want you to make Miss Paintbrush look like this. I want you to take your paintbrush, make sure that you are giving her a nice gentle wash. You are toweling her off, and then you are stylizing her. You are giving her a sweet hairdo before you stand it upright, right in your container and put it away. I hope this helps you with your paint palette care and your paintbrush pair, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much.